Hey guys. Sorry, what's up? It's Sarah. Hope you guys are doing well. I know I'm trying to upload a lot more, but I'm so tired. I can't do anything. I cannot function. I went with my parents to Westroads Mall to do pretty much nothing today. And it was fun, but I'm having breathing difficulties, and so it's taxing on me, and it wasn't as bad. I thought I was going to have a lot of trouble breathing, but we actually didn't walk too fast, which is odd because my dad is like a runner, even though he calls it brisk walking. And like when I was walking at the hospital place, they told me that that was a brisk walk, and I was walking my speed. So, I don't know. To each their own. But anyway, so I came home, and I literally, I think it was like, we left at like 1:30, maybe 2. And by the time we came home, it was like 4 something, maybe 5 something, I don't know. And I fell asleep and just woke up. And yes, I fell asleep in all my shoes, all my clothes. I just kept them on and went to bed because I was exhausted. And I was like, oh, probably going to have to get up later to do something. And so, I don't know. But I am now awake because I woke up and now I'm like, dang. I'm pretty sure I won't stay awake, but I'm up. So anyway, if I look kind of funk, that's why. But I wanted to talk about, as I mentioned, having breathing issues. I wanted to talk about pulmonary function testing because this is the first time that I have had experience with anything like this. And I don't know that it'll help anybody or that it will be interesting, but I thought I would go over my experiences because the whole thing was pretty new and I didn't know what to expect, and it was interesting. So, I said hospital earlier. I was at the hospital, but it was like a pulmonology lab. It was like a testing lab. It wasn't like the hospital. Like it wasn't admitted. It was like an outpatient lab thing that I went to. And so me and Salcha went in the morning, and Moby was behind, and they effed up my pickup, which made me so mad. Okay, the lady told me they were coming between 8:30 and 9. They always have a half an hour window. So about 9:10 I call, and they're like, oh, well, your pickup is between 8:29 and 9:29. I'm like, it's supposed to be a half an hour window. Yeah, I know, I don't know what happened there, but they should be there around 9:27. Okay, thank you. Now that I've stood outside for 40 minutes. Don't want to go in because I might miss them. So I stood outside for an hour. My feet hurt so bad. I cannot stand that long. Like, I wanted to cry. My feet hurt so bad. I wanted to, like, cry. It was horrible. So anyway, so then 9:30 comes, and I'm like, oh, damn, still late. I'm like, crap, I got to be there by 9:45. Finally it comes, probably like 9:35, 9:40, and I'm like, I ain't making it. No way. I'm screwed. So she's like, oh, the construction, and I had trouble finding you. For some reason, tons of people have trouble finding this place. And everyone tells me that the doors are not labeled. Like, you can't see the numbers on the doors, which is weird. But it's really annoying. And so then the construction, they're doing construction over here between Burt and Decatur on 108th, and it's like really annoying. And so like a lot of people are like, oh, the construction makes it really hard to find and blah, blah, blah. And so like, it's just crazy. And so she finally came, and I got to the lab, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm late. I had trouble with my ride. I don't know what to do because now I'm not going to be able to do my test. And the lady's like, oh no, you're fine. You're right on time. So I'm like, okay, if you say so, because I'm not. But I figured since it was a lab where they just did tests, it'd be fine. Like, you're a couple minutes late, fine, whatever. It wasn't a doctor's appointment where, they have to see so many patients in this time and, you have your hour session or whatever. I've kind of figured, since it was like a lab, I'd be okay. But, she asked me some questions like, names, addresses, different things like that. And so, basic ask my ID, insurance card, stuff like that. And so then sorry, I have a bad habit of walking around. I know it's probably making some of you guys motion sick, like pukey. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll try not to. So, they asked me that stuff, and then they had me sit in a waiting area. And then this lady came and said, we need to get some blood. And I was like, no, I just took blood like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. It's about 2 weeks ago when I went to see Dr. Ripley. Well, we like to get blood again, and there's an order for it. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It is what it is. Gotta do what gotta do. So they come and they take my blood, and the lady's like, now we're going to go back to the same waiting area. You're going to sit down again, and you're going to wait for this lady to call you for the PFT. So I'm like, okay, wow. So we go back to the same area. And so Salcha follows this lady and just lays beside me while I do my blood, and then gets up, follows the lady back out, finds a chair, lays beside me. So we finally get in, and this lady comes, and she says her name's Heather. And I'm like, oh, my sister's name is Heather, so we're going through that whole thing. And so she's like, oh, that's so cool. And so she's like, how old's your sister? And I'm like, 40. I don't know. I don't want to say this on the camera. So I told her about how old my sister was. She's not 40, but anyway, told her how old my sister was around, and kind of around when she was born. Oh, well, we're born around the same time. So it's like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. So we go through that, and then she shows me this big machine, and she says there's a mouthpiece on this machine, and we're going to have to breathe into and do different tests. I'm like, okay. And it was interesting because I wondered how they were going to calculate this stuff, because I thought they were using one of those little spirometers with that ball where you go, and then like oh God, I shouldn't have done that. Like that, where the ball, hold on. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Where the ball goes up, and you have to see how hard you can get the ball, like when you have surgery. But it's not. It's like a big machine. And she's like, and then we're going to use these nose clips. And so she puts these, like, I don't know how to explain them because I don't have them. But they work the same as, like, nose pinchers for, like, if you're going to go swimming and you want to plug your nose so you can dive. But they're a little bit different. And they have, like, this thing at the top that you clamp, and then you let go, and it pinches your nose like this. And then you talk kind of funny when you have a bod. And that's so that the air doesn't come out, because they want the air to go in the machine. They want you to breathe, mouth breathe, so they can see what's wrong. They don't want air coming out your nose. So the first test you do all these tests, and then you do 2 of them again. So the first test that you do some of them you do 3 times, and some of them you do 4 times, and I can't remember which. So the first thing I did was, you start out breathing normally. You put the clips on, and then you breathe into the mouthpiece. And Salcha just laid by me. I had his leash in one of my hands, and he just laid by me. And so you breathe into this mouthpiece, and the first exercise you have to do, you have to breathe a little bit normal, and then you take a big deep breath in, and then you have to blow it out, like, really fast. I'm not going to do it because it hurts. Anyway, so you do that. Well, it doesn't hurt, but I'm having trouble, so it's not good. Anyway, so you do that, and I think you do it like 4 times or something like that. And then there was another test where you have to you breathe normal, and then you take a deep breath in, and then you blow it out, and then you take a big deep breath back in. And so we did that one. And then there was another test where you had to Another couple of tests. There was one where you had to sit in this box, and you're already in a box, but you're like in this box, and they close the box and they shut you in, and it's really weird. And Salcha couldn't be with me, so it was funny because she just let go of the leash, and she's like, oh, he'll be fine. So I told him to lay down. Well, he stood up because he could hear my voice talking to the lady. And the lady, Heather, said he was looking everywhere, like trying to find my voice and trying to find out where it was, because I was in this box and he couldn't find me, but he could hear me. And it was like he didn't know what was going on. He was freaking out, just looking all over trying to find me. But he could hear my voice, and he was like, where is she? So he kind of stood up, and then he laid down, and then he stood up. But he stayed there, so it was fine. And so they shut me in this box, and is really crazy. So they shut you in this box, and you they wait a couple minutes for the air to get, like, I don't know exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make the air like balance or something. I don't know. But it starts getting really, I'm not claustrophobic, but it starts getting a little ooh. And then like the air, like, it kind of smells like oxygen. It's really weird. And it just kind of feels really weird and dizzy-ish, and it feels funky, and you're just like, oh, God, ugh. And I felt like I was going to throw up because it's, like, I hate the smell of, like, air or, like, oxygen, like, fat, like when they give you oxygen in a mask, it makes me want to throw up. I hate the smell, and it just makes me sick. And so then they do this test where you breathe normal, and then you have to pant. You have to go in and out really fast. So you have to go really fast, like in and out. And then you have to take a big deep breath in at the end. And then when you're doing it, you have to put your hands over your cheeks like this, and put your other hand the same way, so that they're both like this, but with both hands, and they're flat, so that no air is coming out your cheek, start puffing up. And so you do this, and then you do this, and then they have to do this test like 4 times, I think, or 3 times. I don't know. It's really annoying. And a couple of them I had to do again, because if it doesn't go right, the machine will red flag it. Like, one of my tests was really higher than the other ones had been, and then I did another one and it went back down. So, like, it red flagged it. And so if it red flags it, you have to do it again, which is, like, really weird. So I had to do some of these a few times because they red flagged for various different reasons. One of the panting ones red flagged because I didn't go in and out fast enough. And so you have to do that. And then you have to redo the first test where you breathe in, deep breath, and then you right away blow it out. No pause. You just in, out, really, really hard, as far as you can. And you have to keep going. You have to go like, and you have to go in and in and in, and you have to keep doing it. You have to, like, keep doing that. And then after you do all these tests, no, you don't repeat that test. You do all those tests, you do all those tests, and then they give you an inhaler, and they make you take an inhaler with a spacer. I don't know if any of you guys know what a spacer is. You still have to use the nose clips, but they have you take an inhaler with the spacer, and she gave me the spacer. It's funny, I just had an argument with my sister about spacers and how they were crappy and they're harder and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, you just breathe. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, oh, wow, well, you know, that's interesting because I must have not learned how to use them the right way, because she used to have one that was like oval, and I tried to use it and it was a pain, but now they've changed them and they're like round. And this is like the kind she had, because I put it in my bag when we went to the ball game, and I felt it. So this is the spacer. And so basically what you do is you take this cap off, maybe, and you blow into this piece. So you're going to blow into here, like this. And the inhaler is going to hook onto this. So your inhaler is going to... This is the normal mouthpiece of the inhaler. And you take off the cap. And... oh, shoot. You put it like this, and normally you breathe like so. And you stick your mouth all the way around it, and you push this down, and you breathe in at the same time, and you hold it, and then you let go. Well, with the spacer, so you're going to put the inhaler, the mouthpiece into this plastic piece, so it's going to look like this. And then you're going to put your mouth on here, and you're going to push this down like you normally would. And then you breathe. So like all the medicine goes into this plastic piece right here, and you just go. Hold it for 5 seconds and then let it out. And I noticed and I learned while I was doing this that I'm not holding it in long enough. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out. It's supposed to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm doing it wrong. But, so they give you that. And then you have to repeat the panting test in the box. And then you have to repeat the first test, which is the one where the very first test, which is the one where you, dang it. The first test, which is the one where you breathe in and then you blow it out really fast without pausing. And so then, hold on, I'm trying to put stuff back in my post. So then you repeat those tests, those 2 tests. And I think one of them you do 3 times, one of them you do 4 times, I don't know. Anyway, now I kind of like the spacer because I get the concept and I just never used it the right way, but, it is what it is. Except I don't even know if I'm supposed to take the inhaler. They didn't tell me not to. But after all that, my test came up and it doesn't seem to make a difference. But to me, when I take it, it feels like it's making a difference. Like, to me, it feels like it's helping and I can catch my breath a little easier. But the test says otherwise. So I don't know if I should just take it or what I'm supposed to do. But because they didn't say. But, yeah, so that's how that works. That is a spacer. Hold on. Okay. That is a spacer. And so they give you that, and then you repeat these tests. And then I thought that after that, you talk to the pulmonologist, and they gave you a treatment. But nope. They take the tests, and they give them to your doc, and your doc lets you know. And so I got the tests back that day, and I called the doctor, and I said, I know Dr. Ripley hasn't seen them yet, but have you got my results in? And they said, well, we just got them in. We'll send them to you, because I know a little bit of medical terminology, so I wanted to see them. Didn't really help much. I thought I would be like, oh, yeah, okay. No. The graphs with all the numbers didn't really make much sense, and it didn't make sense. And then it said... It said moderate restriction with or without bronchodilation, and then the rest was just normal stuff. And so I thought that was odd because with or without means that you have the restriction no matter if you take the inhaler, which was the bronchodilator, or not. So I thought that was interesting because, like I said, a lot of times I still breathe heavy and I have a hard time breathing. But I feel like when I take the inhaler, I'm not as like, and so, and then it also said on my test, I had almost every test I did had dyspnea, coughing less than 100 yards, and wheezing frequent. So I was like, oh, that's nice. Great. Ugh. So, yeah, so I had that, and I don't normally just tell all of my med results, but this isn't like something where it's like super personal, where it's like, oh my gosh, like, like, that's my business. Like, it's breathing. I really don't care. And so, that was kind of what the pulmonary function testing was like. It was very interesting, and I'd never done anything like that before, and it was taxing. I slept most of that day, woke up again like this that night, and then I went back to bed. I worked the next day and passed out again. I was shaky for like 2 days. Today's been a lot better, but for like 2 days I was super shaky. They made me take 4 puffs of albuterol. So 4 puffs of that inhaler. I guess you can take 2 to 4, but I always thought you could only take 2. But I took 4, and I don't know. But I was shaky for like 2 days. I felt like I really couldn't catch my breath at all. It was bad. It wasn't like bad to where I was dying, but it was rough. My body's starting to go back to, I don't want to say normal, because I still have breathing problems, and so it's back to where it was, I guess is what I should say. But I was really shaky, and I felt like I just couldn't catch breath, and I felt tired, and it was really taxing on my lungs. Like, I felt like I don't know, it was like an exercise for your lungs, and I felt like I pushed my lungs to where my lungs aren't supposed to go, except that is where your lungs are supposed to go if you're normal. So, so that was really interesting. And so, basically, to end this whole thing, and hopefully you found this interesting, or it helps somebody that might be scared of what is a PFT, what's it like, the unknowns. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. They just said you breathe, and I'm like, do breathing tests. And I'm like, okay, this is odd. Like, how do you breathe different ways? And I don't know. Case in point, I will be seeing a pulmonologist to find out what is restricting my lungs, because apparently what that means is that something is keeping your lungs from expanding all the way. So like when you breathe in and then you exhale out, your lungs expand to let air in and out. But like think of it as like this is them expanding like this. Then, like, let's say they expand like this. So, like, they're not expanding enough to let the normal amount of air in that's supposed to go in. And so, like, your lung volume is normal, so the air that you get is the exchange is normal, but you're having breathlessness because your lungs are not being allowed to fully expand to let the air in, so you're getting less air in, and it's harder to breathe because your lungs are being restricted from expanding all the way. If that makes any sense. If it doesn't, I don't know how to explain it, but so I will keep you guys updated, but that is basically what happened with the PFT. Salcha was a trooper champ. He did amazing. I was so excited. He's been off focus lately, and he's not guiding me where he's supposed to. I started exercising, and now I need to wait because I don't know what's restricting my lungs, and I don't want to push myself too much until I find out. But I am going to start getting some healthier snacks to eat and things like that. And like some pretzels and Skinny Pop instead of microwave popcorn. Skinny Pop's actually good if you haven't had it. It actually tastes really good. It's like, it's really good. It doesn't taste like fat-free popcorn or whatever it's supposed to be. I don't know. But it's really good. They have a white cheddar one, and they have like a regular one. I thought they had a caramel one, but I'm not positive. I'm not a huge caramel corny person. So, yeah. But anyways, yeah. So, that's basically what the PFT is. And I will keep you guys kind of updated. I'm not going to tell you when my appointment is and all that stuff. It's private stuff. But, I will see them soon in a couple weeks' time, and I will keep you guys updated. But that is kind of what you do at a PFT, and kind of what it's like, and what a spacer is, and things like that. And hopefully somebody found this video interesting or informative. I thought it was interesting. I wasn't sure what to expect, and now I know what it is. And hopefully they won't have to repeat it again, because I don't know what kind of tests they do to make sure they match or whatever. I don't know what kind of tests they do. Or if my mom thinks the doctor will have an idea when he sees the test right away, but I don't know if he'll have an idea or if he'll have to do like more testing to kind of find out like what is going on. But so that's basically what happens and what you do. And kind of interesting, but yeah. So I hope you guys are having a great night, day, evening, morning, blessed whenever you're watching this. And I will talk to you guys later and try to get some more videos up soon. I don't want to make any promises because I promise and then it doesn't happen. But hopefully this is interesting or helpful to anybody, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, Debs.
Voiceover on. Camera. Take picture. 25 minutes. 33 seconds. Viewfinder. Image. Viewfinder. Stop. Take picture. Stop recording video. Button.